if somebody goes to use a pesticide that is not of public public health, definitely there'll be a lot of issues and allergies, and there'll be a lot of some of this residual of these chemicals. And also, if you patronize someone that is not a professional in the cleaning industry, some of them goes to buy these chemicals that are so hard that when the client comes into his house after cleaning, the offensive odor of those chemicals he inhales. So these are things that we're trying to make the clients understand, that there's difference between professional and the difference between those that are on the roadside. So if someone doing for you 10,000, that person, you need to understand that person is just coming to your house with broom and packer, then possibly a towel, not even bucket and mop. And if you are doing a pest control for 10,000, you know somebody's just coming to your house to just yeah. Now the pest control might possibly be not just, you don't need to spray, you can use just IPL. So these are things that we're trying to make our clients understand the difference between all these products and then services that we offer. Then, and also, we have issue here in the north, which is predominant. Like, the culture here is like, they are like our brother keeper. So our staff, some of the staff that you employ, sometimes they tend to want to use that medium to over-familiarize themselves with activities like you, because they believe you are like a brother, they are close to you. So they tend to leave that aspect of professionalism and want to use that to over-familiarize themselves, so that whenever they go wrong, you'll be able to talk to them. But well, as a professional, there's no brother, there's no friend in business. Business is business. If you are here to do business, you're here to do business. If you're not here to do business, I walk your street. So you see, it's a lot of issues that we have some challenges here. But the good part of it is we bless God that the academy has taken up, and we've done so much promos and then so much awareness. People are now realizing the differences, and they're really coming on board. So as we go through the discussion, we talk about a lot of things now that we have already done to scale in pest control and also in cleaning services. Thank you very much. Honestly,
Engineer, you're muted.
You're muted, engineer.
Oh, please unmute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir.
So you have to go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. We appreciate what you just told us. And for those people that are trying to leave the business, because I have some people that I've trained and they are still telling me they want to sell their equipment and all that. I tell them, don't sell it. This business can still work. But with what you just told them now, with what you just explained, I believe there's still future in it. Let's keep doing it. You can't start a business today and you believe it's going to rise today. So thank you from North, and the people that are here, you could hear from him. And now I'll go to the South. This is Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, the suburb and all that. So Israel, we know what is happening there. Port Harcourt, we all hype for Port Harcourt. We have office in Port Harcourt, but you are operating there. I'm here to ask you these questions. How have you been doing it? What are the challenges? I know few of the challenges, but you are facing it. Port Harcourt is where we hype a lot because people see it as this oil producing company, states where the money and all that. But the same thing is that we have a lot of challenges when it comes to this. They don't embrace it, but you are there still operating, and I can see what you're doing. Tell us the challenges and what you have been trying to do, and how have you been able to sustain yourself in that same state?
Okay, thank you thank you so much, Dr. Pompey. So I'll go straight to the point. So now in Port Harcourt here, our major challenge is that the awareness of professional service. That is the awareness of professional service. because most clients you tend to meet in Port Harcourt, they don't understand what it means to do a professional cleaning service. And they'll either tell you, I'm helping you, just take this, at least I'm helping you. Because if they understand the value which you give to them, they will appreciate the service, even at any cost. And now let me give a physical example now. So there was a client that called me to clean his new house, like a post-construction cleaning. And my staff went to the man's house for inspection. They saw the man's house and everything. Then we now sent him the quotes for the cleaning. Now, this man said that we charged him too high and that he doesn't mind calling, like he said in his words, Abuki to clean for him. And I asked him, I said, what if they damage your tiles or whatever in your house? And the man said, and so that he can't pay that big money for the cleaning. So now the thing is, in Port Harcourt here, most clients, they lack their awareness of understanding what it means to offer professional cleaning. Because I know if you value a thing, you will pay for it. That is a known fact. But what I've been doing so far is, for me, I've been pushing and ensuring that in my own space, I tend to, what I mean is that from the first contact, when the client calls for a service, we kick off on professional level, down to payments for the service, the like initial payment for the service, then down to how our staff should go to the client's house, looking professionally kitted, everything is on check. Then to the last point of the job delivery and client inspection. So when we have delivered jobs back to back, we have done jobs back to back, and we have maintained this level of professionalism. And that's why oftentimes most of our jobs, we get them on referrals. So we know that, yeah, the awareness is lacking in that space because some clients, they don't understand what you're doing. They may tell you that they have a sister, brother, aunt that cleans for them. And at the end, they mess up the entire their property. But what we've done in our space is that we are still trying to, and we are still keeping our standard. If we charge you an X amount for your service, we give you the best service. We don't give a price for our service and now show up with a broom and packer. No. You get. So what I'm saying is in Port Harcourt, mostly is about their awareness, because some clients they feel that it's just cleaning. They always say that way, it's just cleaning. But if they are aware about what is involved in cleaning, in professional cleaning, they will appreciate it more. But in my little space, I'm still pushing out, doing my thing, and making them know that yes, they can enjoy good service from a professional cleaning company. So that is for my space.
Thank you, Israel. That's a very good one, and I could hear people can gain from that. Keep doing it, do the best, and give value, give quality. That's just it. Now we're coming back to Lagos. I'm not going to ask Lagos about our challenges because we are all in it. But what are the question I want to ask Madam Bisola now is, your question, please, is I want you to tell us the real fact about it. That how do you optimize operational efficiency to reduce cost and improve productivity during this season that we have? How have you been able to do it to maximize this operational efficiency? We know what it is before you buy this, buy that. How have you been able to do that, madam?
Awesome question. Thank you for the opportunity once again. And the question you're asking is a great question. The truth of the matter is, if we don't figure that out, we probably would, have had to just close shop, or rather, if we haven't found a way to just be pushing it, we would have closed shop. So one of the things we do is that we take note of our costs, meaning we're able to deliberately analyze. So we no longer buy in bulk. We now know that because of the rapid rate of inflation and the way prices keep increasing, it will be foolhardy to go and just, of course, when you buy in bulk, that's hedging. But because we know that we cannot keep working capital. So it's a balance for us. Sometimes, yes, we want to quickly go and buy those things that we feel, if you don't hurry now, this inflation, will kill us. Or rather, well, not kill us, but yeah, would will be killing if we're not careful, for lack of a better explanation. But then again, there's some things that we don't see why we should, opportunity cost, they say in economics. So there's some things that we cannot just keep, because sometimes you don't use them over time. In cleaning we have consumables, we have things that like equipment, and so some things you can't just go and be hedging against, even though inflation is rising. So we balance it. We go ahead and sometimes buy things ahead to say, let's just buy some more, so that we can manage that side of rising costs, which helps our operations. And then in some cases, we just buy as at when due, so that we have working capital to do other things, to run, logistics, to mobilize staff and all that. In terms of now manpower, because there are different categories to our operations. In terms of manpower, we no longer just keep staff. So we utilize the strategy of contract staffing, as opposed to before, when you have headache of, okay, let's just keep people so that when the client calls, we try and keep an open relationship with our contract staff base. So they're very important to us. We try and ensure that they're okay. We relate with them, even when, services are not, their services are not needed. So that when they're called, we understand their timings, we understand their flow, we understand their motivation, so that we're able to engage them and get them coming when we need them. We listen to them, we empathize with them, because we're all in Nigeria right now. We were able to just build a relationship and bond with them from that angle. So that way we're able to cut manpower costs rather than keeping them. And then the Yoruba saying that says ogata ogauta, and then we still have to pay them at the end of the month. We don't necessarily do that anymore. We're unapologetic about it, because we know that we can't just be keeping them. And one thing we pride ourselves in is that we rather soak Gary than owe people money. So we just do that. So that, of course, by God's grace, we're not soaking Gary, and we will never soak Gary. But the point is that we try and be responsible, so that we can ensure that we have people available. But then again, we're not expending money on manpower that is not necessary, especially because we're in interesting times. God is helping us, and we thank God for that. With regards to machineries, like I said earlier, some things you want to ensure are available, so that you can hedge against the rising inflation. God is help. It's all over the world. So yeah, we try and just you try and do what you need to do as at now, as opposed to speculating, postponing, and all. So yes, so that's how we've been able to merge it, and we keep looking at ways, innovating. And then sometimes also we look at things like, when you're employing a staff, you want to ensure that they're within proximity of their workspace, so that way you're not paying them above and beyond, and because we don't want to pay people and discourage them. So yeah, so those things we consider. So it's a lot of detailed thinking, analyzing, consideration for for many factors. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, you did. But from that same question you just mentioned, and I would like you to let us understand one thing again, that we advise, some people will tell you permanent staff are well, okay, but you said you're laying them off. How have you been able to communicate this to them?
Well,
Because
we
I
are
feel
not.
they're going to feel it. I know you need to understand your own business part of it, but how have you been able to communicate that? And were you able to, I don't know.
In terms of, we're not laying them off. We're saying that we're putting a seal on it. So we're not just bringing more people. So the people we have so far, we're treating them well, empathizing. We've reached out to our clients to increase their monies. For the ones that work, up close, we no longer make them come to work every day, because the world is now flexible. There's the notion of flexible work hours. So we understand that they're paying transport, and it's increasing. The fall, is increasing rapidly. Is galloping. So we're open to those things so that we may not necessarily increase their salaries, but we'll look at other ways by which we can, cut short these things. So we come to them, we talk to them, we empathize with them, we hear their stories, and then we can come to a balance. So one example I just gave now is, like I said, they don't have to come every day anymore.
Okay.
They don't have to. It is, yes, but that does not mean that they can. If we we give them a boundary line. So within this time of the day, if you're not called, then you're free to. So which means that if a client just calls us suddenly, some certain staff, we know that if we call them and they're not available, we can't fault them. And then we also are now open to the fact that though you might be working for us, you can have your other source of income. We're happy to encourage. In fact, we want to even patronize you. So we want you even you feel free to say you're doing it, as long as you're not with office hours now in our face about it. You're careless, you don't care, you just, my business, or somebody's calling me when you're working, so such things. We're fine with it. You're fine with it. You can do it. Just make sure there's a balance.
Okay, we're still going to come back to that because there's a question on that, but you've said it. But I have from the boss lady herself, that is A Mobile. Thank you for coming on board, madam. Thank you. And we thank God for life for the last incident that happened last week. We give God the glory, man. Thank you for calling. She dropped a message on the chat room. I think is directly into everyone, but Madam wants Madam Bisola and Madam Essie, you're going to talk about this. You mentioned the contract staff. So she said, contract staff. So if I may ask, if you have a post-construction job and it is for a week, how do you go about the payment?
I've seen the question, sir. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So the thing is this, like I said we draw a balance. So I'm not saying it's one size fits all. I'm saying that the existing people we have, we use them. But right now, we're not going to be. So, and then if it is a week's job, the existing people we have would fall into place. And we will add contract staff. It's all about strategy. If, for example, we have a week's job, the way cleaning is now.
Definitely.
At the beginning, that is where the pressure is. At the beginning, you have pressure. Hey, let's do this. You need to clear. You need to, so much. Then at the end, you're doing touch-ups. That's when the client is just coming, but let's say, because we know with our cleaning in our country is never, all things being equal, because we have, different kind of clients. Some clients that want to take advantage, some clients that are, who have artisans that are reckless, and they just come to site and they make the cleaners work look like they don't know what they're doing. But I'm saying in a scenario, so this is a question. So I'm going to say in a scenario where all things are equal, we will utilize the hands we have, knowing fully well that we might need contract staff. So we balance it. Like I said at that beginning stage, we can add some contract staff, knowing that, okay, if it's 1 week, this contract person, you are here for 3 weeks, and we have a target. We know what we want to achieve because we know how this thing pans out. We've seen the job, we've seen the scope, and we would use them while we also use our own permanent guys. And then when the work is getting to the end, we know that it's permanent guys now, because we know that, like I said, in our context, the clients may decide that they want to break one wall. And once you're in it, you're in it. At least that's our own principle. Once we're in it, we don't tell stories. At least we try not, even though now in this time, sometimes we have to be assertive and stand our ground to say this was not the agreement. But many times when we're in it, we tend to just, work with them and try and manage them, and even help them sometimes manage their artisans to say, do you realize that your artisan can do this thing without making such a mess? Or can you please tell your artisan to put paper on the floor rather than mess up what we've done? So those are the things we do to balance, situations at our side. So yes, Ma, you're right. It may not be cost effective to just stick with only contract staff, but that's not what we're saying. We're saying that right now, in the context where we're in, when we need to use our full-time staff, we're happy to just stick with them. But when we need to engage our contract staff, we will engage them. And yes, it's not everything's not always profit for us. Sometimes, the client's referrals, the client satisfaction. So we balance these things. We just balance it based on the context of where we are, knowing that we'll continue to grow where we are. It's certainly not where we're going, and it's a better place. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. We're still gonna come back to you. So, Madam Essie, I want to ask you.
You look like coming back. Hope I answered my question well.
Yeah, she has responded to you. Thank you, so for guidance. How much is to pay to contract staff is different, Joe. Yeah, we're still gonna. Yeah, that's true. Yes, right. That's why I'm asking. Thank you, Mother A Mobile. So, thank you, Ma. You're always on point. Now, Madam Essie, your questions is still on the cost and management because I sectionalize it. Madam Essie, what can you tell us? How have you been able to manage it? We're talking about practical instances. We do inspection in cleaning. You need to carry out inspections if you don't want to overcoat or undercoat. Now, how have you been able to manage this cost? Because sometimes we do this inspection, and our very good clients, they are very good to us. They won't call you back. And that money goes to suspense account, or it goes to recoverable account, or whatever account you want to put it. So, Madam Essie, how have you been able to make this? How have you been able to do it? What is your own strategy? What have you been using? Because some said now we have online inspection, we have physical. So tell us your own. How have you been doing it? Because you are in Lagos.
Okay, so for me, we charge for inspection. If you're coming to your property to want to inspect, we'll charge you. And we say, yes. We say,
is it your client that accept that? How do you say that? Is it before you go in, you'd have told the client?
I tell the client, yes. We tell the client before we come in that we're charging you for inspection. And that will be deducted from the cost of doing business with you. So it's a straightforward
approach. You guys are enjoying Lagos.
We have the cost of oiling our vehicle. What about we get there at the end of the day? We did that several times. You get there and the client is saying something else. So we have to factor that into our costs. So if you come and we give you our costs and you don't like it, at least we didn't waste our fuel. So we factor that into the cost of doing business with you. I hope that's then for what's the second question, engineer?
Yeah, it's the same inspection. What is the strategy, which you've said the strategy you use, but you think in this present Nigeria that we have Lagos, is that how?
It's a win-win. If you look at it, it's a win-win. We're not taking the money. We give before we will come to your site, we tell you the price range. So we don't know how the place looks. So we give you a price range. It's not going to fall below this, and not going to go above this. So first of all, we want to know that we're dealing with serious-minded people. We're not wasting our time. Because someone might call you now and say, okay, I have 30,000 naira I want to use to clean a 8-bedroom mansion. So let me just tell you my price before I leave. That's 30,000 naira is going to clean your 8-bedroom mansion. So this is our cost range. If it goes well with you, then we start coming. And we're going to deduct the percentage of transportation, whatever we're charging, we're going to deduct it from the total costs. So it takes care of our fuel. Then we know we are dealing with serious-minded people. Of course, it's a range. You will negotiate. Like I said, there's a limit we cannot go below, and there's something we know we cannot go above. Even once we say that, like I said, it reduces the number of people that's just serious-minded people. So you already know you've negotiated, okay, this is the amount of money. So remove whatever we have charged you for transportation out of it. We tried doing it several times. You can imagine driving the long distance and the person tells you, oh, I just remember that somebody, come on,
Thank
the
you.
wear and tear of the car and all that, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for doing that, for giving us that insight on that. And I guess we are learning, and we have we have people. Okay, we have some questions from the chat room. We'll be taking questions. Okay, Abdul Latif dropped a message in the chat room. How do we operate within the legal framework, taking into consideration government policy that frown against keeping staff on contract basis beyond a particular period of time? Mr. Latif or Alhaji Latif, well, what I will tell you is this is cleaning, this is pest control. We understand the aspect of going into government work, but this government, what are they doing for us? What is this? But when it comes to this, you're not taking it, but we're still going to answer this question so that what you're asking, I understand the context of it, but I will tell you, we're talking about 1 week, 2 weeks. These are contracts. It has been for years. But I understand if you are part, I don't know if you're part of the cleaning business, if you're a cleaning business person or pest control, I wouldn't know. But I can tell you the area you're coming from, we juggle it. We try to weigh both options. But we'll still come back to this question because we have the Q&A where people will ask us. We have a lot of questions that is even coming in already from the other Facebook and YouTube that I will need to bring on board for the guest speakers. Thank you. And Mr. Damla, yeah, Damla, thank you. He said, there are time wasters. Yeah, we have them. At this time, there are plenty. We have them a lot. They will call you. Even the online people are the one that makes me laugh all the time. When they will call me. Some of my staff that I send to them online, we get funny questions. Yeah. Okay, prestige, time wasters are very much this time too. We need to be careful. Yeah. Madam Temi, the question we have is we've been discussing this contract thing, but let me just take you on this. What is your own take when it comes to pricing? Lagos, we all know it's competitive, but what do you do when you give a client a price and the client tells you the price is too high? Someone wants to do this lower. How do you manage this situation, Madam Timi?
Okay, thank you, engineer. Good evening, everyone, once again. Well, for me, one thing, like a phrase that, a wise one said this to me, a few years ago at the cause of my starting out. And this word has, it stuck with me, and it's one word that I've always been using. I will read it out and I will say it because I always write it at every point and everywhere when I'm particularly with this question you asked. And she said, excellence is not cheap. While cheap is very nasty and it will be costly. We all know that. So when clients come to me, majorly like the last person said, and being put a mobile, she put on the chat, time wasters and all that. And they come and they will tell you after you give them quotes and everything back and forth. Yes, we want to settle down with you. Can you reduce? What's your best price? The most times when I hear that, I will just laugh and I smile a lot like, okay, you are asking me for the best price. I know it's a marketing negotiation, strategies that people come about and they say, okay, your best price. But as the way, I put it on the reverse side, that you are asking me for my best. Best is not cheap. When you say best, that means definitely you are going for something that is out of ordinary. And so when clients come and they say, okay, with this cost and everything, I just look at it and I say to you, it's something that I know I can cover after considering my operation cost and all that and all that and all that. And going below, okay, this is a certain stage we can deal with. And you're still saying it's too high. I just tell you, fine. But for us, if you really want something, you've seen our work and someone refer you, most especially come for referrals. Someone has spoken about you this and this, and they said, yes, you will do it. And then I'll have peace of mind. I can even leave my home and all that. I said, fine. So if that is it, excellence is what you want, right? You want the best. So it's not going to come cheap because cheap is nasty. So, in a polite way, I say that, not in a rude way, when we're talking to these clients, so in a polite way. So once I have that mindset with me, I don't have to struggle with anything. Like we also said, we know catch is king, it's a business. We want the business to move and all that. But at some point, I look at my mind. I don't want to do something that at the end of the day, I will now be struggling and all that. So excellence is nasty, and I know it will cost me more. So I'd rather let you go. And but later on, I've seen that most clients that I have such conversation with, they will not, okay, yes, yes, we'll now do it. We just add little token with it, which will fall within what I have in mind. So I just smile and I said, thank you. And so that's the way how for me, we've been able to deal with it and all that. So thank you. I don't know if I make sense, but thank you.
All right, thank you. Excellent. A very relating word that I take home there. Excellence, best is not cheap, which is true. It's not really cheap. If you want something best, you need to be ready to pay for it. Okay, I will be going to have Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, I'm going back to Ibadan now. Mr. Victor, the issue of economic changes, meltdown, downtown, everything that we mean by inflation, whatever is happening in the country, which we give God the glory, is still alive. The question I want to ask you, Mr. Victor, I want you to answer the issue of someone coming up as a new starter and all that. He has gone everywhere. He has gotten enough advice. What can you advise in office, concerning office? As a cleaning business or pest control business owner, what is your own take about office? And give us some example in a very short while so that I want you to give us more clarity on about offices when it comes to cleaning and pest control. Mr. Victor.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Regarding that question, I will just share my own personal experience. We started the business 15 years ago, and I remember when we started, I bought virtually all my equipment from Clean Hall. I remember walking into Squeaky Clean's office. Myself and Squeaky Clean, we were childhood friends. We known each other from nursery. So I walked into her office and we discussed about it. And she said she has been waiting for us for a day that will come and tell her that we want to do this business. Because she has been asking us that she can see that we have that flair for this kind of business. But we never thought of it. So long and short, we started and we're running from home. And for the first 10 years of our business, we're running from home. And I was just my laptop. I realized that clients don't come to us in cleaning business. I don't know about Lagos, but clients don't come to us. Even for us moving to Lagos, we got to Lagos via referral. All the facility companies we were working for, we got referred to them by other clients. And nobody has ever come to say they are coming to inspect our office. At a point, I was bothered that what if they say they are coming to meet us or they are coming to have a meeting with us? But it has always been the reverse. They will only call you for meeting. They won't say we are coming to meet in the office. They will call you to come and meet them in the office. And there has never been a time that a client will come maybe to do domestic cleaning or post-construction cleaning or fumigation. You have to go and visit the site. So after the first 10 years, we were like, no, we should have an office to give us an image. And I went out, we got a very nice property in Bodija and put it up. Everything was good. We spent 2 years in that office. And for one day, nobody, not a single soul walked in to ask us. And we're doing business. In fact, I can say we do business more than, our volume of business is more than everybody in that office complex. But nobody came to our office. Then the third year, the landlady came and gave us a bill. She tripled our rent. And we're like, no, we have to. So we started looking for offices again. And one day, my secretary just beckoned and said, sir, she joined us about 4 years ago now. that she learned that we were operating from the house before. And I said, yes. And she said, what stops you from going back home, sir? Why do you have to pay 3-4 million to get an office that nobody has ever come to meet us there? And I asked myself, I said, I think you're right. So the next, we just moved back to my house. And we've been operating from my house since then. So when I see people, yeah, it's good to have an office. It gives you an image if it's working for you. But for me, it's something that hasn't really worked for me. The 2 years I paid over 6 million as rent. And that 6 million did not give me anything. It didn't bring anything back on my table. So I don't know, maybe for other regions, clients come to their offices. For all the multinationals we work for, nobody has ever called to say they are coming to our office for even for a visit, not to say having a meeting with us. So for an upcoming entrepreneur coming into cleaning, I would say to save costs, you can operate, even if it's a room or your boys' quarters, you can operate from there rather than having extra costs, having an office. I can understand Immobile, they have retail and they have other things they do. I know my sister Squeaky Clinton has an office. Yeah, but again, you have to weigh your options and to be able to save costs. These days, I would say start from the little beginning. That's all I can say.
All right. I will still be coming back. Yeah. Thank God Uba is here. Yeah. Not that we'll be saying things we have said. She's going to tell us because she's going to come after because she is a very good person to tell us about this. So that's why I said after the guest speaker, she's here, she's going to tell us something about that. Thank God I have her on board. I'm Prof. I'm going to bring them to tell us. Emuba is telling us about having others, why Prof will tell us his own story and how it has worked. I don't want to talk about it. What I see about office is people who do ask me, engineer, you have office, Accord, Lagos. We don't want to talk about it now. I will tell you what makes up that. Okay, now, Madam Sola, you have something to talk about this, all this office thing. You unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle Victor, for that. I don't know if you remember me. You and I.
Of course. Cleaning and more. My sister.
Yes, so and I'm always very in awe of the way you are very down to earth, in your communication. So, yeah, I think it's one of your gifts.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing. Yes, sir. From your wealth of wisdom. Yes, I wanted to just add to that. It's true, sir. Really, benefit of hindsight. And the office space, they just keep it there. Okay, it's echoing.
It seems that, yeah, it's echoing.
Let me adjust that because I took an alternate phone. Let me correct. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
Awesome. All right. Apologies. Okay, so I was saying that in addition to what Uncle Victor had said, it really benefit of hindsight. You really don't have visits, but I know that there have been some companies that want to see that you have an office and that you have machineries and you have things that they consider credible enough, or things that they consider as what a credible cleaning company should have. So we must start small, very important, but let's not stay there. Let's have a higher, picture. And this is not to say you should go and, like Uncle Victor just advised, don't go and, spend money and expend resources when you really cannot afford it. You must, like Madam Imova has pointed out, be careful not to go and end up in debt. But we must also keep looking ahead with a big picture. Now, bringing us back to that notion of the fact that some organizations actually want to see an office. They're hubs, they're cohabiting of office spaces that you can consider, using. which means that even in spite of the fact that you're working from home, your machines, your equipment, you need to keep gathering them. And if, for example, somebody now wants to see an office space, like I said, we have cohabiting office spaces now. The world is evolving. People understand these things, where you can probably rent and, use as a place of reference, so that if an organization wants to see that these people can actually function, because the truth of the matter, you don't need an office space to function professionally. You can even have an office space and be rather, unprofessional and reckless in your cleaning. So I just wanted to draw that balance, that always, we must think big, even though we start small.
Right. So, Mr. Son,
Okay, can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you raise up your hands? Do you have a contribution concerning the office space?
Yes, I do, Mr. Pomfrey. Honestly speaking, from my own experience, office space is very vital in this business. Like for instance, you are coming in as a startup, and you want to scale in this business. To be honest with you, you need to have an office. Now, from my own experience, I noticed that the location of your office matters very much in choosing the location. It depends on the kind of clients you want to attract. Secondly, proximity. If you have a very good location with a good proximity for the client, sometimes when they pass by, they see your signpost. And when they see your signpost, they see your office. So sometimes a client would want to rush into the office and see the kind of office you are operating. And that's when he will now believe that you have an integrity that he would want to work with. That's from my experience. And then secondly, if you look at some of these organizations, they already have other companies that they're already having business dealings with. So for every year that they're going to bid out contracts, those contract companies will have to come, the procurement office would have to come and check your office. So if you really want to get a corporate clients and you really want to work with the corporate bodies, honestly, I stand by my word that you need to have an office with a good location. Because if you really don't have that, you can't go to an organization and say, I want to work with you. Then you submit all your documents, then they say, okay, fine, we're coming to do inspection. Of course, they have to do background check on you. And that background check has to be even coming to your office. And if they come, you tell them that you're operating from home. Honestly speaking, unless and until, if in the home where you operate, you've already spaced out and maybe a location of portion in the house, that is, you may have a container aside from the main building. You may have a container within the facility, or you could just erect a small building within the facility and then make it an office. But if you don't really have an office, honestly speaking, I don't think people would, I don't know. For me, there's no corporate organization would want to work with you, because that office, that's your office address. It is your identity. It is your brand. Now, let me give you an instance. For me, where I'm in Kano, I've had several offices. But when I wanted to set up the training academy, I had to look for a place where it's on the major road, one of the most busiest roads in Kano. Say, for instance, you are in Ikeja and you want to set up an office. Of course, it's going to be a bit expensive for you to have a location, or maybe on Aolo Road, or maybe on Johnson. But then you have to create that office for people that will pass and see. Sometimes an office gives you two opportunities. One, some clients will come to your office when on their way to their work. That is when they have the time to check your office, to come into the office and have a business with you before they go to office. Secondly, some other will close between 4 and 5. That's when they pass by, and that's when they have the chance to come to your office. And now, you having an office, you have a lot of people that will pass by and they see your sample. So your brand, and you're promoting your brand and you're promoting your business. So I think I would rather stop here and say, I would advise, honestly, to have an office. Thank you.
All right, sir. So, Mr. Victor, I think you have a take on this before we move on.
Okay. Honestly, don't get me right when I say it's not good to have an office. I'm an advocate of you can have your office, but you're talking about branding, you're talking about organizations. If I should count by my fingertips, I think I have up to 10 multinationals I'm working for. And I can tell you out of those 10, even if they're reviewing our SLA on a yearly basis, these are multinationals that even banks that if I mention their names, they don't come visiting you. That's the truth of the matter. I don't know. It may be different with others, but these multinationals I'm talking about, if I mention their names, each and every one of us, you know them. And in my house, I have two of my rooms in the boys' quarters. One is strictly for consumables, and the other is strictly for equipment. Yes, we have equipment that we deploy permanently in locations, and we have extra equipment in the other room, and it's just filled up there. And I have another place I run my admin office from. I'm talking about my own personal experience. I'm not talking about anyone. And for all the multinationals we've been working for, the minimum we've worked for each one of them, the least that I would say, which is a new one, maybe about 3-4 years ago. And maybe we come by referral again, and we work for them, and they see the kind of work we do, and they retain us. And we are talking about multinationals we do good business with. So it's if I'm looking at it from the cost perspective, and like Bisola mentioned, you can have a shared office. There are shared offices all over the country. In Ibadan, I have one, and the part of my address where I take my operational base. Are you with me? So the 3 years I spent where I was.
I guess there's the network. Okay, while Mr. Victor comes back, let's try to balance it. Yeah, before we run out of time. Yeah, I think there's network. So, please, what I want to do now, let's just quickly break out so that we balance this.
Okay. I'm back now.
All right.
So where I'm in Ibadan is Bodija Stokun. There is nobody that you tell in Ibadan that you are going to Stokun. It's like telling somebody you are going to Awolowo in Ikoyi. Are you with me?
Yes.
That do not know where I'm talking about. So, and the office space is you don't need to describe much for anybody to get there. But I'll tell you, people come into that complex, not one person with my beautiful signage, well, everything, not one person has ever come in. That's why I said I don't know about other states. But not one person has once come in to say, oh, this is a cleaning company. Oh, I have a need for cleaning. Are you with me?
Yes.
So for me, professional-wise, it doesn't work for me. But I have, like Aerocon, somebody mentioned that, does Aerocon Aerocon will come and inspect for equipment. Yes, I have Aerocon certificate, and I renew on a yearly basis. Yes, I have an office that they've come. I've been with them I've registered with Aerocon now, at least going 8 years now. And anytime they come for inspection, it's the same office they come to meet me. And they ask for my equipment. I bring them to my VQ in the house where I keep all my equipment. They bring them out, they see the functionality. And I get passed. Sometimes I take them back, and sometimes they say, is it that you went to borrow? And I said, no, that I have a storage for all my equipment. And they come and I take them, and I said, it's different from where the office is. And they come and they have a look at it, and we go. So it works differently for everyone. It works differently for everyone. If I can save money on office space with what is presently going on in the economy now, I think it's working for me. I don't know about others.
All right. Thank you. Different strokes, different people tackle things in the different ways, and
Yeah.
I understand it from your own angle, but I'm just here to bring things there. But I will still even breaking out now is to balance on things, people that have been doing it and people that don't have office. I will need to call Madam A Mobile. You are in the best position to advise on this for new people coming up and those that have been in the business. So, Madam Yebua, please, I will appreciate you giving us your take on this while we'll go back to, we just want to have a break out while you come back with.
Good evening, everyone.
You today.
Sorry, my baby is shouting. Don't shout. Sorry. Okay, I think my take about offices. Mr. Victor, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My take about offices is, please, if you know you are just starting the business as much as possible, or maybe you're even an established business, but you're finding it hard at this time that is very challenging for everybody. It's not, I tell people, it's not about maybe you are strong, you've been in the business for 10 years. Sorry, and it's not about maybe things are really very okay, you understand, in the country. You have to know where you are exactly in business now. So when it comes to like getting an office, please, it is not, I'm putting this in asterisk, it's not compulsory really for you to have an office like that if you're starting. You can start. I started my business from my house. I started from my house and I operated from my house for like, I think for like a year or so. And after 1 year, I branched out. The reason why I branched out was because of my vision. So I think what a lot of us are missing in this industry is we are really following other people's vision. And so we are now like, we are copying and following people's vision. And that is making us not to be able to scale easily at this time. So, you see a particular strategy working and you think maybe you just pick that strategy. If you know at this time you're an established business and you know that you cannot afford an office, please shut down. Don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. Seriously, it's not worth it. Shut down. Start again and again from your home. And when you're starting from your home, if you know that you starting from your home is not going to be convenient, what do I mean? Please, then you need to now look for a smaller space. So if you know it's not going to be convenient, maybe, okay, you're living in a 2-bedroom flat, a 3-bedroom, you have kids, please, I would not advise you put your chemicals in such places. That is not ideal. So now, another thing is getting multinationals. If you think you have to have, like in Lagos, I'll give you a very good example. There are some companies that, yes, they will check. Most companies in Nigeria, they don't do checks. Like Mr. Victor said, it's true. And that's a big flaw present in Nigeria. They don't do checks. It's just a matter of you having very good network for you to get most of these multinational jobs. Some of it, yes, by grace you can get it, by favor you can get it. But one thing you need to understand, yes, we carry grace, we carry favor. But at the same time, you need to understand that your network is important. So you need to now start getting your network right. So like Mr. Victor's network might be very strong that he decides to be in his home. And you are thinking, oh, let me start also, let me do my own also and start from the house. And you're not going to make it. So it doesn't mean because Mr. Victor said it, you understand, you want to go and do it. The proper thing, seriously, the proper thing is for you as you are growing and you're scaling. There is a number of years that you must be able to know that, yes, I want to scale and I want to have an office. You having an office, I agree that customers do not come. But let me tell you, in our own business, we have working clients. We have the work. It depends on where you are located again. So some of us are located in the wrong places. some of us are a bit eating. So we have working clients that are coming into our company and they actually they book services. So, and some of us are not really targeting the right thing. So that's why some of us are thinking maybe offices, they don't worth it. Offices is worth it, but my own take is understand your vision, understand your pockets, understand where you're going to, your kind of business, and understand also the times that we are in. There are some clients that we want an office. There are some. I have a particular client that we dealt with from outside Nigeria. Seriously, they were like, if we do not have an office, they won't give us that job. There was a particular client that they came to our office. Then we were in a very small office. My God, it took me like almost 3 hours to convince them that we could do that job of 5 million naira then. I'm talking about some years back. It took me a lot because why? They looked at they said, this is like a lock-up shop. You people, if we give you 5 million naira, you will not run with our money now. And that's the truth. They were just afraid. So you need to understand and sit down. Try to look at your business. A lot of us business owners, we're not looking at our business. You know, when they will come free this thing, you won't come. They will come this thing, you don't. You look into your business very well. Don't follow because someone is doing it. And I can see that trend a lot happening. And I'm sorry to say this, that trend is going to weaken the industry. It's not going to improve the industry. It's not going to make the industry to be exciting. It's not going to make it to thrive. We can't, a lot of us are thinking about pricing that people have, if you want to price anyhow, price anyhow. It's allowed. Price is a matter of, I don't care. If you want to, that is your vision. So if you know that you want to price 3-bedroom, post-construction, 30,000 naira, oh, why not? You can do it. That's the value you want to give your customer. You understand? Me, I can decide that I want to take 500,000. That's the value I want to give my customer. So there won't be argument. Don't be upset if company A is giving 30, company B is giving 500. We are doing service business, and all of us, we are giving values. So that's the value you want to give. That's the value you want to give. But one thing you need to understand is this industry belongs to me, you, and to our generations. It's what we give that we are going to get back. If you give rubbish, it means for the generation to come, they will still what? They'll be having rubbish for next generations. And you can't build the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Always ready to dish out. Thank you, Imoba. I appreciate that. Before going back, I'm going to call another person that will give us from another angle, which is Prof. After Prof, I have someone, so we can balance the situation. Prof, what is your take about this? Because I know how you operate, and with your own experience and your input, I think it's going to help us. Best Prof.
Okay, thank you, everyone. In fact, everyone has spoken fine, but for me, I always say I'm not a businessman, I'm a bloody technician. So all this when they call office, yeah, it's good to have an office, very good. But you see, in the times we are in now, it is best you first of all set up office online. If you don't have an office online, in this dispensation, or you are coming into business, you starting. If you don't have an office online, don't even stress yourself so much about office offline. You see, most of the checks, people do checks, but it's not physical checks that they do. They go to your social media, they go to your website to check you out. You understand? They do all these checks. I can tell you specifically from a personal experience, a big job that we handled not quite long, they checked us up. They checked, they specifically went to my Instagram to look at who I am on Instagram or on IG, yeah. And it was from there they called and said they see what I'm doing. They see, they started talking about a lot, and that gave us the edge that we needed to secure the job. So have a presence. If you have a presence online, sometimes the offline, that is physical office, may not even matter. Get it? So what works for Mr. A may not work for Mr. B, just like Emoba has said. But the most important thing is this, and I'm being truthful about it, I'm being factual about it. Have a brand. be visible. Yeah. And part of being a brand of repute is knowing your onions. You understand? If you know your onions, I will shout this from anywhere. Know your onions, be knowledgeable, know what you're doing. Yeah. Establish yourself in a particular niche. I tell you, even whether you have an office or not, as long as you are visible online, people will get to you. Then the network thing too is something that we shouldn't trifle with. Network, it plays a huge role, you know. So I guess that's all I can say for now. I'm just coming in, from a stressful day. So I believe that little somebody can run with it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. That's from another angle. And the last person I'll call while we go back to our guest speaker to continue our question. Rehoboth is another person that can give us, you have seen the two sides of it. And Mr. Paul, can you give us your take on this too?
Yes, good evening. Thank you for the wonderful people. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you can increase the volume a little bit.
Okay. All right. To my wonderful colleague, Mobile, Mr. Gutierrez, and everyone who are talking, Mr. Tony, you all have the point. Now, depending on the aspect of thing you are handling, then if you're going to be having an office. I remember in the country, at the time your office from your house in Lekki. So, but when you wanted to start out your training brand, you came up with an office in Yaba. So for somebody like A Mobile who is into consumable retail and other things, there will be need for her to have an office space. Like you said earlier on, she didn't have an office space. So if you're going to be going into machinery, selling of food and equipment, like you do, there is need for an office space. But if it's just your regular training, I mean, just the training aspect, you don't need an office space for it. Set up your admin automatically. I mean, the administrative part of the business set up automatically, So every other thing can be done online. But if you're going to be training, I mean, you're going to be having a training brand, you want to sell equipment, you want to sell consumables, definitely you need to have a physical store. But if it's just for booking and every other thing, like Mr. Victor said, those people, customers don't have time, and they don't have that time to go and be checking out your office. Once they look at your profile online, once they look at your IG page, like Prof said, brand yourself work. Once your page is able to convince them that, oh, this person has very good execution, good brand and everything, they are good to go. So save your money, don't rent an office space if you're just doing regular training, if you're just doing training. But if you want to move into other aspects of training, like training, selling of food and equipment, consumables, you want to move into consultancy, definitely people want to work in, have a one-on-one chat with you, have a one-on-one talk with you, come and consult. Definitely there is need for an office space. So that's all I have to say at this section. Thank you very much, Engineer Pompi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Paul. We appreciate that. That was a good one. Yeah, Mr. Smartwatch, can you unmute yourself and let's hear from you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so glad that I'm around tonight, and it's great opportunities for me. I can see the likes of Dr. Pompey, my madam, A Mobile. I wave you, Rio Bolts, Alaji Sonny, Mr. Victor, and I want to pick it up from when we started Smart about 9 years ago. And Dr. Sonny, Alaji Sonny is a live witness of the genesis of a smartwatch. We started smartwatch in Kano. And we started, and just like a child's play. The office were like, should we go and rent an office? How are we going to penetrate? So for the new entrants into the industries, into the cleaning industry, you need to determine what exactly you want to do. How do you want to penetrate into the industry, the cleaning industry? Your focus. And do you need a presence? Do you need a physical office? And then in Kano, about 9 years ago, we only had an open office where we just put aside and we have just this signboard, the smartwatch. And people were like going up and down. What are they doing here? And we started with something very different. We came into the cleaning industry very different. Alaji Sonny can bear witness. We came into this cleaning industry with a team cleaning strategy. Because, you know, in Kano, by the time you park your car or as you're building your house, you see the Almajiri coming around and say they want to help you out to clean your house. And that's for a free service because they're expecting you to give them a small amount of money to give them masara and whatever and to clean the house. And we said, okay, how are we going to penetrate into this industry? And we just by the side along Lamido Crescent, and let's put up our banner. Let's have a small place because renting an apartment or renting an office in Kano around that where Alaji Sonny has an office is millions of naira. And we're just coming into the industry. And we need to showcase what we have. And we started with steam cleaning. And the steam cleaning, you bring your car, we are going to steam wash your car. You are inviting us to your house to come and wash your house. We are steam washing your house. So that's a different ball game from what every other existing cleaners are doing. So that's number one point. You are coming into this industry. Then you should be able to understand that everybody that needs your service, they can do it, but they don't have the time to do it. So what do you have to offer? Where are you? Either you are online or you are offline. Maybe they want to ascertain that around that time that we started, people want to see your face because they don't know maybe you are Boko Haram. So they want to see your face. They want to know where your location is because they are fear of they don't know where you are. If you are coming to their house, are you bringing in the bomb to their house? So we only just by the side. But as at that time, what we have to offer is what we are marketing to people. That's what we are pronouncing to people. So I'm advising the new entrants into this industry. That service that you want to render, that's what you should hammer on. Then people will recognize by either online or offline, this is what this person is offering. Then from there, where are you? Okay, I am in my GRA.
Yeah,
I am in my location.
Smartwatch, we really understand. The point we are saying now is so that we won't deviate or because of time, we understand that your own point is we're talking about starters that don't have money. They are thinking about like what A-Mobile said, Prof, Rehoboth, Mr. Victor. What we are saying, office is very, very good, but we're looking at people coming in at this time. So let's just brief so that we can finish up the other questions. So that's what we are looking at. The focus of office is about new
my advice. Okay, my advice to the new entrants is you have to know your onions, scale up, check what you need to have, and plus and minus. Anywhere can be an office, online or offline. Your presence matters, as what people said to advise. Don't jump. If you believe in your small quarters, like Mr. Victor, which I'm still going to call him behind the camera, I think I am missing him a lot in Ibadan, and there's somebody that I need to just talk to. I appreciate him. Coming up from your boys' quarter is also good. Coming up from your online is also good. So plus and minus, your online office or your offline office, all the same. office is office. So to the new entrants, just know your onions and know how to start up. Consult with the leaders in the industry, and they will advise better. Just like you, A-Mobile, and every other person, they advise. So they will tailor they will tailor your request to what you have, and that will be a good advice to your either to have an office or a physical office or an online office. So thank you very much.
Thank you. A take home from that, office is office. I love that statement. Thank you, Smartwash. Yeah, Mr. Victor, do you have something to take?
So,
go to the next question. Yeah.
just to my final note on the issue of people starting business, whether to have an office or not. So I'll just share my experience. I started, and when we started, the first 1 year was very, very rough. I was almost going to, in fact, I actually called back Cleanhouse marketing manager to come and pick up my equipment and give me the equipment at the discount, give me some money, a discounted rate amount of money. And she insisted that I should just go ahead. And what worked for me, and it still works for me till tomorrow, I try to have an online presence, Instagram, what have you. I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I posted whatever you see on my Instagram is what I posted maybe during the COVID period. But what did we do? We enjoyed the referral till tomorrow. I can tell you that for every job I do, they are purely referrals. Clients that are happy with what we have done. And that's why people don't call for my office or ask for my office. All the multinationals we are working for, I'll give you an example now. For Farm Milk, somebody referred me, a friend of mine, a senior friend of mine at Ibadan Polo Club, referred me to, I did a job for him. And, because they're expatriates, he referred me to MD of Farm Milk. They have this terrazzo floor that had been badly treated, and they were contemplating putting tiles on it. So I told my senior friend that, no, I'll bring it back for him. And which I did. And the same issue happened at Farm Milk's, my MD's house in Ibadan, his official house in Ibadan. And he referred me, and I did the job, and the man was happy. Fortunately, their corporate head office in Lagos they're moving it from Ikeja GRA to somewhere in Acme, Ogba Industrial Layout. And the whole floor, the 3 floors, happened to be terrazzo floor. And that was how I got into Farm Milk. And I can say for every big national, big corporations I work for, and individual. So Prof knows very well. Prof knows at least to a larger extent my operations. And from this tomorrow, Monday now, till end of the week, I have jobs lined up. And they're all referrals. People telling, oh, we know somebody called us and told us you can do this for us. And after doing it for that person is satisfied. I was on my bed yesterday afternoon. A friend went to a big hotel in Ibadan that had just been put up in one of the GRAs and said, no, you are the one that can do this job. And I got there. It's referral. So they didn't come and look for me in my office. So that has been working for me. I don't have an online presence, and neither do I have a physical office, like I say in quote like that. But it has all been referral. So all I would say is like build your brand. Ensure you maintain your standard, and it will work for you. That's what works for me. I don't know about others. I ensure that I have a brand that everybody knows. Somebody, now again, somebody not to take our time. Somebody called, I think that was during COVID, and said they needed to clean their house and disinfect. And we gave her a quote, but because she's that highly placed in Nigeria, and we gave her an advice, and she saw it like a rude, like we were rude. But at the end of the day, she started going back to people in Ibadan and asking, I need a cleaning company. I got to a point, the next person she would call, she'd say, don't tell me Clintos. And eventually, they still told her it's the only clean toes that can do it. And the husband had to intervene because the husband happened to be somebody that I knew. And the guy just said, the Victor that I know. And when I explained to the husband told me, my wife, she can be a bit temperamental. And we ended up doing the job. And the wife that felt insulted, I can't remember the number of clients she has introduced me to, even in Lagos. And they will insist. And I tell them, look, I have somebody that can do it for you in Lagos. They say, do you think we are stripping? That you think we don't know there are cleaning companies in Lagos? But you were referred. And that's why I'm occupied. I'm occupied. So let everybody work for what can work for them. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Just walk and stay on your lane. Everybody have their own bus stop. I keep saying that. Not because you're seeing me on this. Walk and let what works for you keep working for you. That's it. So the next question, because this office might take calls because it's a very cogent question. The next question is going to Israel. It's going to be very for everybody, but I'm starting with Israel. Israel, we all know that the prices of things has gone up. How much the minimum wage that you paid in Port Harcourt for casual workers, and how do you handle them? The feeding, are you the one to take care of their feeding, their transport, and you pay their wages? Can you just tell us so that everybody will answer this from Port Harcourt? What is the minimum that you think you pay them?
Okay, thank you once more, Dr. Pompey. So are you referring to full-time staffs, or you mean contract staff besides?
How the wages for casual workers working for you for a day? How much was the minimum that you think you can pay now? I'm not talking about then. Now that if you call for any casual work to come and help, want to work out a day, how much is the minimum that you have to pay? And we're talking about the process. Are you going to take care of their fooding or the transport? Let's put it together.
Okay, thank you. So if I'm to engage the service of a casual daily pay worker, what I pay is 7,000 naira.
In Port Harcourt presently.
And yes, 7,000 naira.
Like 2 years ago, how much was it? Or last year?
It was 5,000 naira. Last year, 5,000 naira. But this year
is the feeding included?
So last year the feeding was actually optional. It depends on if I want to give the person feeding, you get. But currently this year it's actually 7,000 naira. And oftentimes I tend to support them on their logistics, going to the place and coming back. So it's more of a personal thing for me. But the thing is that I don't really engage the casual daily pay worker because I actually have a lot of staffs down full time as in salary payments, you get. So I barely make use of the casual daily pay workers.
Okay.
So that's
it's going to be 2 in 1. So the next speaker is going to talk now. 7,000 the feeding. Now that we're talking about, even as we know, we work for government and all that. Some of the government state have not started paying this minimum wages, 70K. But you have permanent staff, which I know we've seen well in Port Harcourt. We've related well in Port Harcourt. But how have you been able to manage this minimum wage when you are now employing someone? I'm not saying we should mention that you should tag the price that you pay them as salary, but how have you been able? Don't you have a lot of side talk from client staff that 70K, and how do you do that as your permanent staff?
Okay, now so for my business, my staffs are my priority because they showcase my business outside. They're my first customers. So what I do oftentimes is that I tend to support my staffs mostly with daily feeding. Every day they go to work, I ensure they have food, as in good food to eat, which I pay an amount for all my staffs. Because I know it's not really easy out there. You get, even when it comes to paying for food. Imagine earning an amount of money and you spend most of your money buying food, you get. What I do is that every day they go to work, I have an amount for them to go get good meal, to go to work and come back. Then oftentimes I tend to support my staffs, maybe few of them with TP, going to work. And so what I do most time is that I take more of the burden because I own a business, you get. So I may get a job that may pay me very well, that can cover up for what I've spent for a period of time on my staffs. So, but I ensure that my staffs are well taken care of, not minding what if I eat, how my pocket is being affected, but they are my priority. So that I do most times.
So the 70K is not applicable yet. Even states have not yet playing it.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
As in, the minimum wages all over the country is 70K. And you have some permanent staff, 70,000, and you have permanent staff. What I'm saying is, have they not been complaining, sir? Will you upgrade to that level? Or are you even paying up to that level already?
Okay, so yeah, so that this the 70,000 the amount you mentioned. The let me say, for example, now you get the list of my staffs. The list of my staffs ends above 60,000 naira a month.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know what I do basically. You get
That's
yes,
just,
a month. Yes.
I just want to know that from Port Harcourt, and thank you for sharing with us. I will call someone too. He's a very good friend of mine. We've run things. Mr. Robert, you're from Port Harcourt. I think you have a say on this because we all know what Port Harcourt is. Mr. Robert, if you're there, can you unmute yourself and give your own take on this issue about Port Harcourt minimum pay for staff?
Are you referring to me, engineer?
No, Mr. Robert is from Port Harcourt.
Do you mean real boot?
No, Robert Dai. Robert, are you there? Okay. While we're waiting, because he stays in Port Harcourt too, he knows more of the terrain. So now I'll call on Aji Sani. Can you tell us about the minimum workforce? We're talking about casual. I'm not talking about the permanent now. But what is the situation like? How much do you pay? Because I do things in South, the North well, and I know what it's all about, and I know how we play about it. Sir, can you just tell us the minimum that you give to casual cleaners or the pest control people that do your pest control? What's the minimum if they are casuals, and how do you handle the logistics?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Once again, I'm back, and honestly speaking, let me start with the cleaning. Now, for the cleaning, we have our main staff and we have the casuals. Basically, like in Canada,
Hello.
we try to. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, yeah. Like the basic for.
Okay, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Is that Robert?
Hello. Yes, good evening, everyone.
Okay, just give us in the next one.
Yes, Robert on the line.
Okay.
Lydia Pompey, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for calling my attention regarding Port Harcourt in terms of pest control and cleaning activities. Here in Port Harcourt, the challenges are just too much. My good friend, my brother Israel, gave some insight. In Port Harcourt, business regarding pest control and fumigation, including cleaning, Port Harcourt is a very different environment. Port Harcourt here, we believe in community. Professionalism doesn't speak at all. I work for different clients. Pompey, I've given you my profile and areas I have worked. What sustained me even up to today are clients from Lagos. I can give you their names. I work for GPFI, I work for SIBO, I work for Eleza, I work for ENS. They are my clients that sustain me. But when it comes to Port Harcourt in terms of pest control and cleaning business, you will see that you go to a client and what they tell you is community. It hurts me. The lady that just spoke about payments concerning, job inspections and the inspection fee. I have a problem with one of the clients that called me in an estate fumigation. When I went there, after the whole discussion, community came up. They said, no, I am not from a community. But I told them, look, I have my equipment. I have the expertise. And this is what I do. I work for other clients. They said, no, do I have a community? They want to give the job to the community. I said, well, they can go ahead. And can I shock you? After when they gave you a job, the man that got the job have to pass through my workers, come to me that they want to hire my equipment. I said, for what? I don't hire equipment. I don't hire equipment. I do my job with direct. If I have it, I have it. If I don't have it, so be it. Now we are discussing about payment. On Friday, there was a client that came from Lagos. They have a job in one of the banks. When I told him that, look, in Port Harcourt, the average labor is between 7,000 and 8,000 naira. The minimum transport, how did they get there? I told him the minimum transport, if you're coming from a neutral ground, maybe, let's assume you are coming from Burukiri, you're going to Transamadi. You're coming from Burukiri going to Transamadi. Transamadi is an industrial area where most of we don't have workforce. The least worker that will come there and go will pay at least 1,500 to 2,000 naira coming and going. And I told him, factor it into the price. They said, no, Lagos, they pay 5,000, 3,000. Somebody walk. I said, you won't see anybody. Pompey, can I shock you? This man went to the market. I think, when jobs come, people will pass back and want to come and say all manner of things. I left the whole thing. When I get back, he went to the market, and guess what? The least chemical he bought was about 15,000 naira per liter. And at the end of the day, he called me. I said, sir, I don't do things like that. If you want me to do a job for you, you don't determine who I'm going to use. Allow me do my job. And at the end of the day, you judge me for what I do. I don't announce myself. That is in terms of payment. The list is from 7,000, 8,000, and that is what I pay. I don't keep permanent staff. For now, if you don't have a permanent job, how do you keep a permanent staff? How do you maintain them? All what I know is that I know my job. When I have a job, I call my crew. I say, come on board. And I don't even allow anybody to go to the field without my supervision. I know what you are doing. I will see what you are doing, and I know what you are doing, so that at the end of the day, you don't come and give me issues. Regarding our colleague, Victor was talking about office space. Pompey, I can tell you, I made a signpost, put a banner in an office for over 2 years. I did not get one client that comes to me as a result of that signpost and that banner. But through social media, referral, all the things I do through social media and referral, So that is it. I really thank you for this opportunity and the privilege you gave to me. Thank you.
We've done things together. We know that it's a host state, and we know what it is. It's not an easy working in Port Harcourt. So a lot of, we know what it is. I understand what you're saying. It's a host country. Even crossing one region to another, they will tell us to, matching ground. But during the days of Amici, it was crap or later, but we don't go into government. Anyway. All right, Mr. Sonny. Sonny, you can continue the casual minimum wage over there in North, and how do you manage them?
So, like I said, the basic minimum is 5,000. Normally pay them. Initially, before this economic meltdown, we were paying between 2,500 and 3,000. But at present now, because of the economic situation, we're paying 5,000 for the casual staff. And secondly, we provide logistics for them. That is, we take them to the site and then bring them back. For food, of course, you have to provide food, because in the north, whatever you do, food is basically number one thing for any of even your staff. So managing this set of people, casual workers, has been very, very okay for us in Kano here, because there are a lot of them here. We have a lot of people that want to work, because we have a lot of dropouts here, and we have a lot of those that came in from the other states as Almajiris who had seen us doing some work, and then they are interested in what to do. So some of them come on board. And moreover, some of these casual workers, if we see their commitments, and if they're very good and are honest, we sometimes, include them into the workforce. So for us in Kano here, managing the workers here is not really, really, really much difficult for us, honestly, because we have so many of them looking for jobs. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So before you go, I have an issue, but maybe you can put it out because I have something I'm doing there. How do you manage? Because we're talking about time frame. During the prayer time, how do you handle your casual worker? Do you allow them to go and do that? And do you know that it's meant to be the part of the you're paying them for hours. So how do you handle? Because we've been battling it, but I have to give in. But how do you do that?
It's very simple, Mr. Bimpe. The time of prayer is between 1 and 1:30 to 2 o'clock, right? Then between 3:15 to 4:15. So basically what I normally do is their break time starts by 1 p.m. and ends by 1:30. So by 1:30, they finish their break and their prayer time by 1:45. So by 2 o'clock, you must be on there. I have a students policy that you go for break by 1 o'clock. By 1:30, you're done with your prayer. And by 1:45, you're done with whatever you are eating food. Then by 2, you should be back on your left. Then at 3:15, that is when we pray. And by 4 p.m., we are back again to spend the next 2 hours. So that's how it has been with us, honestly. We have a good time frame.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I call on Madam Bisola. Please, can you tell us where all it? How do you do, and what's the present minimum price wage for casuals that you use, and what are the what are the procedures that you apply to that?
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the question being posed. Well, Clean and More operating from Lagos, and we also get to work in other parts of the country, but predominantly in Lagos. And I'll say that in Lagos, we are in the Lekki Peninsula area. And so what we have experienced is that based on proximity to site, it varies. So we cannot say that is a minimum, because we've had to go as high as 10,000 sometimes for staff that are coming to site. And because and that is when we want people that know what they're doing, not the ones that we still have to man, because like I said, we mix permanent staff with contract staff. So if we're mixing permanent staff with contract staff, we can manage the situation of manning the contract staff and telling them this is how it's done. So they are working, but they may not have a sense of direction. But when we want staff that have a sense of direction and also considering proximity, sometimes we go as far as 10. Because like I said, we're working from the Lekki Peninsula area. If you're taking people to, for example, an Ikeja, sometimes we've had to pay like 10. If from where we are, which is the Aja area, you're taking people to as far as Lakwe, we've had to sometimes pay them like 9. If they're within that area where we are, Aja area, extending to maybe Lekki Phase 1, yes, you can talk about 7, 6, 7, depending on the capacity of the contract.
Including their feeding?
For feeding, I don't make it. I tend to like to structure things so that no one is sentimental. So we don't in any of these packages, in these ranges of we give food feeding as a matter of me by myself doing it, not as a company. So meaning I'm doing it as a matter of the fact that I'm showing you consideration. So know that it's not a company policy. So that tomorrow these guys don't, because they can be a bit sentimental. And you don't really want people using sentiments in your business. You really don't want anyone saying, madam, never chop, oh, madam, the food way. Do you understand? So we like to keep it straight jacket. This is the work, this is the arrangement, this is how it is. If you get anything from us, know that somebody somewhere amongst us just thought we should go the extra mile, but this feeding is not part of the package. We try and make it as simple as that. That doesn't mean that we cannot buy bread, like I said, but we won't make it like it's the company's, modus operandi. No, our modus operandi is you come to work, we give you your money. If when it's we have a time range for your feeding. So within this time you eat. And then if we see that the work is going to take a long time, we want to encourage you. But what we always do also is that we give them water. And then sometimes we just give them loaves of bread to start the day so that especially when we have a time target, you can't afford for you saying I want to go and eat and then you go for a long time. So that's what we do. We don't, but of course our own staff, of course, we give you food, even though we're going to pay you permanent as in your salary, but we feed you there. As in we would say you will eat, you will get, for such times when you're out of area of operation. But contract staff, we don't want sentiment because they can be a bit erratic, and with due respect to them. So we like to keep it, straight to the work focus. Otherwise, you start hearing all sorts of very interesting things,
Oh, yeah, that's good. I got you. And the next thing I want to ask that you can just brief us because we are rounding up, is the area. What about how do you pay? Do you pay at the end of the job? What about if they now the client calls you back? How do you do the difference? If they do the job and they tells you that they finished the job, that the job is done, and clients now complains, how do you handle that situation?
Great question, sir. So, I mentioned earlier that, like, for example, Madam Imuba referred to the 1 week scenario. And I said that, we strategize it. We try not to keep our work results in the hands of contract staff. Because, if a client, wants us to do a job, the end results, we don't leave it in their hands. So, there has to be someone who has stake in it. That will come and check. Even if we're short staff and people, I would get myself there or get a trusted hand to go there and check so that in the place of complaints, we will not now have paid them off and then we will now be like at a loss, because the way it is now. You really will find the contract staff that you say they complain and they will just happily come back and that person must be someone that I don't know where they came from heaven or something, where they will just show up again. So we tend to ensure that we check it. We encourage also. We start to benchmark. So we start to check on them towards, so because we have a target, so we start to know that okay, as at this time, you should have actually gotten to a point where we can even hint the client's representative to say, do you want to come around now and come and start looking, giving hints and all that for some sites. But for some sites where it is not the case, we would ensure that we are the ones that come and just check and make sure that things are done well. I know we've had instances where the clients represent, are you saying that your staff are not detailed enough for you to just leave them to work? I'm like, the truth of the matter is we're training them, but it is we, meaning the permanent back-end management, that understand what we are trying to achieve. Yes, you train them, but these people, their backgrounds, where they're coming from. Have you been to some of their houses when you go and do know your client, know your staff, you train them, you teach them, but they can't take away the reality of what they see every day. So where you are saying this thing is not clean, they're looking at you like, what's your own? Your own is too much. How can this thing not be clean? So we still have to always still use our own eye, understanding to say, yes, you believe in rub and shine. We'll try to teach you that there's no rub and shine. So we go there and say, okay, I know the client, and I always tell the people who work with me, look, they're trusting us to give them the best. And so what it is this, even the places where, so, and that's why we're professionals, those places where, you know, you may not be able to see, meaning, you know, for example, you're cleaning a door, that place where nobody touches, where it's not a normal thing for someone to touch, you're expected to clean it because they're trusting us. And because we're doing it, because we're doing it unto God, not necessarily because we're trying to please man. You want to do your job well. So that's the angle we take it from. And so when we know that they may not be able to give us that, we come, you know, to ensure such details. Yeah, I don't know if I covered that.
Thank you. That's well taken. Yeah, I'll now go to Ibadan. Mr. Victor,
Thank you so much.
minimum, what's the minimum? Because this is Ibadan now. So what's the minimum for people going for your pest control or cleaning for a day? What's the minimum wage?
Okay, for Ibadan, thank you very much. For Ibadan, we are not that as rich as Lagos. Ibadan is 5,000 daily, and that does not include feeding or transportation. That's what we pay in Ibadan. And well, yes, once in a while, I get to sites. I see probably when I see them buying food, it doesn't take anything out from me. I buy them food. Sometimes I eat from them with whatever they buy or from the seller. So that's what we do for Ibadan. Then my own operation is a mix of the two. I have permanent staff that are my builders team. Apart from the normal janitorial daily cleaning for all the offices and banks that we work for, I have my own permanent staff that at least I can deploy to a site and they are on salary basis. And I still give them daily pay, same amount that I give my casual staff. For the guys I have, the list of them is earning 40,000 and 2 around 50,000. I have 5 of them and 2 around 50,000, three 40,000. And for these ones, they are my permanent staff. And the reason why I push them is because I don't want a situation whereby a job comes up, I begin to start looking for these boys around. And these are the main clean tools team that we have trained and we keep retraining. So when we go to site, I developed that about a year ago, even including the casual staff. I ensure that I retain 1 day's salary until the client signs off. Because even sometimes the permanent staff, they get carried away. That I have seen. And the only thing you can do to put them in line and in check is when you say, okay, fine, no problem. You are working on this site 4 days. You get paid for 3 days. And okay, within 48 hours, that is not how the client's rep will not be there to sign us off. And once we are signed off to go, then they get paid. But in events that maybe the client's rep signs us off, and maybe the clients now call us back, and sometimes, yeah, we do our own due diligence and checks, but that's what we do. So, but if in an event that there is a callback on the particular job, then the permanent staff, they know that they have to go and do it without being paid. And for that one, they ensure that when they go to any site with the casual staff, they ensure that they don't have any reason to be called back for any correction. And that has been working for us. And for the permanent staff, graciously, the back-end staff, they've even been, most of them have even been more on management, the minimum wage, even before the minimum wage came up. So that's what we do, and that's how we've been running. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Madam Bisola, you have something?
I just wanted to ask something, ask Uncle Victor something. So, sir, so those builders, cleaners that are paid also contract, do you pay them the same rates or you just give them something Meaning you're paying 5,000 to the others. You also pay those guys 5,000 for
Yes, I pay them.
for each day.
I pay them. I pay them.
Wow.
You see, because if I don't pay them salary, what I found out is that there won't be any need for them to stay with me. So that means why would they stay with me if they have other cleaning companies that are calling them?
I understand that salary part. I mean, you said you pay them also like the same wages as the contract staff too when they go to site.
That's the key. That's the incentive for them. That's why they are still with me. That's why I'll tell you something. Maybe it is God that has been helping me. These boys, I will give it to them. They're not here today. When they go to any site, because you see this is where I work. For any job we have, I ask them to do the inspection. I ask them to bring up to do the costing. It's not as if I don't. So when they bring it, I look at it. I have figures for every line item. Then the only thing they don't know is our margin. Are you with me? So they know what goes into that business, that project. So when some potential customers come to that site, I've seen instances whereby somebody saw my boys working on the site, not one, not twice, and they go to them and say, look, we want you to come and clean for us. They would rather give them my phone number to call me. And once you give them my phone number, they will call me even well ahead before the customer calls me to say, sir, we gave so person your contact number. They will want us to work for them. So they see everything. So, and they know that they get paid. So at the end of the month, if they calculate what they're earning plus the 40 or 50,000 they're getting from me, it's better for them to let me take the stress and be talking to customer and be negotiating.
All right, that's a strategy that we're talking about.
So my permanent team. So if they know, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So they know who is good in this aspect, who is good in this aspect, who is good. And so once they get to site, they just push themselves there and assign their casual workers to work with them. And sometimes they tell me, sir, this casual worker we feel is good enough to join us permanently. We don't want him to go. Because, as they work for us, there are other cleaning companies in Ibadan that are looking at them and say, we want to poach from Clintos.
Okay, sir. Like what you said.
So, yeah.
Like what you said, it's a strategy. And I tell you, this strategy is what we use, but we call it site allowance, PCB. I learned this thing in India when I went there to do a job relating to my project. And I saw that they were paying, and they were still paying me allowance. That was when I introduced it. So it tells, but we don't pay actual what we pay. We can say, okay, instead of paying 10, you can pay 7. That was what we do. But they are loyal with that because what they make is even more than their salary. And that's what we included when we are doing the costing. But I have Informa Uzo. You want to give us, you want something on this? Before I'll call Madam Essay. Informa, are you there? Because we are rounding up. Okay, while we are waiting for Ifoma, okay, Madam Essay, because you have your question now, but what do you want to tell us? You have an input on this?
Okay, I think you should just say the question so I can just make my contribution.
Okay, you can do the two together. Your own question is concerning how do you handle staffs that goes behind you to get your client, because you introduce the client to speak with a person. How do you handle those staffs?
Okay, so Mr. Victor, I really like what you said. For us, we started a business with contract staff, and when we started, it was just random contract staff. But I noticed that it wasn't working because when the jobs come in, these other people were busy. So we had to get good ones among them, and we started training them. So we had a meeting with them once every month. Yes, this contract stuff. But the demand for the work increased, and we knew that we could not keep up with just having contract staff. So we got full-time staff. when the full-time staff came, we knew that we had to make them very comfortable. So we got where the salary, the salary structure, we got where they could stay, getting to the office was at no cost. Try to eliminate any expense they're going to spend. So when the salary comes, it's all for their pocket. So that's what we did. So we bring the contract staff in once in a while when they have the job is so much. And the discussion that was going on as in contract staff, how do you manage them? Because we still have our own contract staff that we still use. Yes, these ones that have been trained, they still work with us. But when the work gets bigger than that, it's quite contract staff, that's the random ones that you just have to like call. I haven't really, I don't like the way they work because I think there's no commitment to their side and it's all about the money. So it's strictly business. So when we come, we negotiate, inclusive of the feeding, whatever they want. So they charge us between 8 to 10,000, 12,000. So everything is just the complete package we pay. And at the end of the day, sometimes they also mess the job. And our full-time staff go and correct this. So the question you asked now is, please, can you repeat the question?
Staff going behind to get.
Okay, how do they go behind to get the job? For our staff, like the full-time staff, we have supervisors that go with them. So that's funny enough, we've had a lot of cases where contract staff, even the ones we trained, go behind to take our job. And the one that happened wasn't reported by our full-time staff. Yes. So, and how have we been able to deal with that? What we did at the time, the ones that was reported to us, we knew we had to get supervisors that went with them. That is not scheduled workers now. So these well-paid staff that go and meet with the client. So we have the lesser paid ones have little or no contact with the clients. So that's how we have been able to manage it this time around. So we also have our office phone, which we use in communicating with the client. We don't allow our full-time staff, theirs is just to go and work. The vehicle takes them there, the supervisors are with them, monitoring the work, and everything is done from the office phone. So that's how we do the supervision now. That's the best of our knowledge.
Please monitoring, micromanaging. Yes. Mrs. Ngosu, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
My name is Ifeoma Ozonwosu Kamikos.
I know.
Okay, well done. Thank you. Thank you for everybody's contribution. It was really very nice hearing everybody speak. I just wanted to share my own little 2 cents what I do. 95% of the time, I use my own staff. I rarely use contract staff, except when there's an overflow of jobs. I get them 1 or 2 days, I'm done with them. So for my staff, over time, I've learned to give them 1 meal every day, and that helps. I've done it for a long time, and somehow the job absorbs the costs. It's not too heavy. It's not heavy on me. Then on the few times I use contractors, we negotiate it, but everybody resumes in the office where the office vehicle picks you from to and from site. So what you spend is morning, you come from your house to my office. that also helps. Instead of telling them to go to the site straight, so we converge in the office vehicle picks them. So it eliminates that. Of recent, I know I've paid 7,000. There was a time it was heavy. Somebody said 12,000. I needed him to cover that job, but I never sent any contractor alone to any of my sites. I mix them up in teams that will, my staff will overwhelm them and be able to put them in check. 1 or 2 days, I'm done with them. I let them go. My staff, they continue the job until they finish. So that's what I always do. Then I put bonus factor in my job. You do extra work, you get bonus. There is bonus on fumigation, bonus on exclusion, bonus on derating, bonus on rock. Those things, I place bonus on all of them. So the more you do, the more your money goes back. Most of my staff, because they have been with me for a long time, they are already on the minimum, above the minimum mark. But those that are started a short while, it's time that will make you get up to the minimum mark. So you also need to do those extractions to a mark to increase what you are going to earn at the end of the day. So that's what I do, and that's what has been helping me. I just wanted to share. Maybe if people could just put bonus. I don't think I'll send you to site you on salary and I'm giving you daily allowance every day. But there's also a cumulative bonus. If a target, a monthly target I've set for you people, if you reach it, there's a bonus we share everybody. So everybody makes sure. And if your job also falls short, we don't repeat sites. So if I go to site and the supervisor don't make sure that your feedback form is signed, it's on you. I don't like repeating sites. So they have to make sure the customer signs off the feedback form that everything was done right, so that there's no need saying you didn't do work well, come back. So I try to eliminate that part the best I can, and that works for me. I said, let me share it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kamiko. That's a very insightful one, and we can take use of that. Yeah, the next question, because we are rounding up, the time is well spent. Madam Temi, the question is, what is your take about collaborations with other industry colleagues? How do you see it? Has it been positive? What do you see about collaborations?
Wow. Okay. Thank you, engineer, once again, and thank you for everyone that has contributed. I have notes like I was just writing. Thank you so much. Okay, based on the question, for me, collaboration, I think, is the way forward now, as things are. Because for me, from all what has been shared, I don't have a physical office. So when it comes some jobs, I have people I collaborate with, right? Well, for majorly when it comes to pest control, I deal with Mr. Caleb, we all know, root maps. And so that has always been a good one for me because it covers it up and we have our margins and things work well. So I think collaboration is the way forward, like I said. When it comes to any job that you know you can handle, and it's something that you know is bigger and you don't want to let go, perhaps, just like losing out on such clients. So I think it's the best way to reach out to people in the industry and with wisdom work out things or spell out the negotiations. And I think that's fine for me. And it's really working well for me. Thank you. I don't know if that's helpful.
Okay,
but that's
collaboration is the way. What you're saying, collaboration is the way forward. That is just it. Now, the last question goes to everybody, but I will start with Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, what is the impact of association, PECAM, CPAN, or any other association? What is their impact, and how do you think they are giving positive impact? Because we are having a meeting with CPAN meeting is coming up on the 1st of October, which we know we are having something very juicy, and we're going to discuss about these economic factors and things like that. But being part of the ESCO, you're on the hot seat. What is your take about this association? Are they giving a positive, or what can you tell us concerning association when you are into any industry?
Well, I would say association is very good. It's a positive development.
without CPAN, I wouldn't know pumping. Without CPAN, I wouldn't know cleaning and more. Without CPAN, I wouldn't know A-Mobile. I would not know Temitope Oluwadare. I would not know a lot of people on this platform. I would not know Alhaji Sani. But I met everybody. I will not know real, and my very good Oga Kunle Adebi is on this platform this evening. Without CPAN, I wouldn't know any of these people. And it has helped me a lot in my business because there's a lot of collaboration between us, and CPAN give us that platform. So I would say it's nice to join this association. It will help your network. It will help improve your knowledge. Not necessarily because you have to rely on the association, because the association has given you a platform to leverage on to be able to meet with industry players. And with that, you can ask questions. If not that I met A-Mobile, there was a certain job I was going to do in Lagos about 2 years ago. And I just stumbled on something on A-Mobile's page. And because we have a relationship, I was able to approach her and ask. And if I had not met her via CPAN, I don't know, probably I wouldn't have met her. So it is a good thing to join association. And that's just my candid opinion. Right. And okay, CPAN too, during the global meltdown in during the COVID period, really helped me because the disinfecting jobs during the COVID, CPAN did a training with ISA, which is the global body for cleaning. And we were encouraged to join that training. And via that training, we were able to get certified. And it really helped my business at that period. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Thank you. So we all hear that association is very important and it's network us a lot. And there's it's coming up. It's coming up tomorrow on the 1st.
On the 1st of October.
Yeah, October 1st, we're going to have a general meeting. We're going to discuss a lot of things. If you're still not part of it, you can join the PECAM. It's also there. We did our meeting last week. So if you're not there, I will encourage you to join so that you can network through that. So I go on to Madam Bisola, your take about association, because we are rounding up this program.
All right. Yes. It cannot be overemphasized. Associations are, they are leveraged. They're an important factor to leverage upon. We must, utilize them effectively because it gives you access to network that's, quality network, which can be your net worth. It gives you access to resources, where you can build yourself, learn, relearn, unlearn, you get to meet like minds, you get to, to build a formidable front, because, many things now we're in the Nigerian context, and sometimes to fight certain ills and certain challenges, it helps when we come under an association, when we come under a body and present ourselves as like minds. So yes, it's important that one takes advantage. So even as an oncoming business or upcoming business, lay aside, little that you can to eventually join, relevant associations for your business based on the vision of your business. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Association is something you do without. Thank you. Now we go to Not. Sir, because I don't know about most of the association you are into, because I saw some of those your brochure. So what is your own take on association in any industry?
Honestly, Dr. Pempe, to leverage on this, I would say it's very, very important. It's a key success to any person who wants to really go into this industry. I will take from my own experience and my own part, joining so many of these associations, it has given me a lot of edge over a lot of companies within the northern part of the country. I would say, due to the membership of these associations, I mean, I was able to go attend a lot of training, workshop. I was able to network. I was able to meet virtually everybody that on this platform. We met one or the other through this association. So you see, it is very important for you to be a member of association. Like just Mr. Victor said, his work has been on the referral. So you see, through associations, we get referred to so many places. Like most people that in Lagos, Port Harcourt, I know, and then those in Abuja, when they have jobs, they call not. They usually call on me and ask me to help them out. And some of them would even send their staff. Okay, please, Mr. Sani, I've never been to Kano and I have a job in Kasina. How can you help? Like, no, sir, bro. Send your team if you're sending somebody. But most times we try to make it easier for people. What I do is I just tell the person, okay, why don't you send one of the supervisors here? Let's meet up. He comes, Kano, I receive him. He's still with us. Then we try to like engage some of the workers for them, so that the cost of transportation for that particular person, and the cost of doing the business would have been easy for him. So through this association, we've been able to do a lot. And again, I want to talk about the Econ. Everybody knows last year, Econ reviewed their prices. I was opportune to have seen the price of pest control and cleaning. And I quickly called on the ESCOs of the two associations. And I said, sir, I called the president, I said, sir, we have an issue. Econ is reviewing their prices for pest control to 1 million naira per registration. So if we allow this to happen, what about the incoming company, people that are coming in, the newcomers? And again, some of our members that don't really have good, businesses all the time, how would they measure up to be paying 1 million annually for this? So you see, through the association, we were able to voice out and go to Econ and start with them and then tell them that this is not possible, it's not viable, which Econ later revised the prices and went back to the normal prices. So you see, association is always very, very good. And I will endorse everybody to always associate, because you have a lot of network and then the follow through. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very powerful one. So I go to Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, you tell us your take about association.
Okay, thank you. For me, it creates a platform for awareness, because when you're around people that have like minds like you, they tend to open you up to a lot of potentials. Like, if you don't know about something and you reach out to your colleagues in the association, they tend to let you know more to get in that very field. So for me, association tends to bring a platform for awareness, making you to know that you're in this business and you can go way above this. More like that, the PCV group now, the PCV training center now, that, we share knowledge together. No matter how it may seem, but to your colleagues, they can fetch out one or two things and pull you through that can take you up. So for me, it creates a platform for awareness to make you know more about what you're doing and even go higher. That's my own take. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Madam Temi, your take about association and how has it been impactful?
Wow. Like all I said, without the association, I wouldn't know you, engineer. Okay, actually, we met at Rootmans. Okay, from there, then the association as well, yes. And then from the association, yes, I've met like minds, and the later, what's her name? Blessing. I've met several people, and I'm still meeting people, still knowing. We get to know, ask questions, the things you're not clear about. It has been a wonderful one. I'm grateful that I joined, and it was actually Mr. I'm trying to remember his name. Let me check. So I don't call what is Mr. Clement. Yes, it was his wife that introduced me to the association. So I'm glad I joined when she pointed me to it. So it's been a good one, being part of the association. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So my lovely sister, Madam S.A., your take about association and networking.
Okay, I have to say that if you're a newbie in this business, after setting out everything you need to set, please join the associations. It's very important. There's something that happened recently. That's as a result of the association. There was one pesticide we used to use, and I found that it was banned. And just because I attended an association meeting, we're just talking about it, and somebody just said, "Oh, you could use this just free." So you gain a lot of knowledge. Knowledge you probably pay for, you get for free just by paying a yearly due. You meet people that will network you, that will act as mentors, yes, that will things you not ordinarily just meet in your corner. And the next you meet everybody at their people that you probably won't look up to. Just meet them there, and you can have a meeting with them, book an appointment with them. So associations are very, very important. I will encourage anybody that's just starting the business, please join an association. It will help you scale from one level of your business to another, which it has helped us. Like now, Engineer Pompey here, I think was on the platform. I also met him. Yeah, and look at our association here. We are all here. Alajisani, PCO Alajisani is here. Do you understand? So it's very important. It cannot be overemphasized. Please join an association. All the associations that you need to join them. It's not too much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We've all heard about from our speakers. They've said all. So what we just have a few minutes for any question. The questions are much. I don't want to go into those questions from all the platforms because we have really exhausted a lot of questions and we've really tackled it. And so if we have anything here, you can raise up your hand and we just call you up. Can you join the list of we need to join? Yeah, if you want to join the platform, any of the association, you can reach us to. We will give you the link to do that. So if you have any question, raise up your hands and we call you. If not, I think we should call it a day because today we've really dealt into different things, but time sometimes will not permit us. If we want to go on, we can go on and on, but we just have to cut the curtain at this point. So next month is going to be another knowledge sharing. Well, okay, Alaji Sonny, okay. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Pompey.
Yes.
I would like to, we discussed really a lot on these issues and then challenges. And we're talking about advising our young upcoming members that are coming to join industry. So I want to as we said, kindly advise. We talked about a lot of things. Then we're talking about how to scale the businesses. Yes, I want to advise on those 3 things that we kind of discussed about. Like for those newcomers, I would advise, as Ms. Elliot had always said, get referral, and engage in community services. As a new person coming to the system, you can equally use the community. For instance, like the churches, maybe some of the markets, you could do some kind of sort of for pro bono services. You understand? And people get to know you, and you get referred through that. There are a lot of big people that go to a lot of churches, so you could use that as a selling point. Then, secondly, again, you can use the UPS, that's the unique selling point. Just like one of our colleagues here said, he did in Kano and was awesome. The Mr. Smartwatch. You get your unique selling points now for you to be able to enter into the market. That unique selling point will be your key success in scaling of the businesses. You could possibly get a specialized service that you understand. Do a specialized service, or you do customized cleaning or flexible scheduling. If you can do flexible scheduling, some of these companies do not close, do not shut down their businesses, and they want pest control to happen in this facility. So if you can provide schedule, flexible schedule for them to do, for you to do the services while you keep operating, that would be a selling point for you. So I think it would be good for the young ones and the possibly my colleagues to also know about this. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best, all of us.
Thank you for that input and for that good information. It's very, very good. And I think we'll tap into that information. Before I even draw the curtains, I would like to call on one of my boss, Mr. Kunle Adebi. I want you to give us, you can't just come like that and without calling you, sir. What is your own take about these economic challenges, and how can we need your contributions, your advice, and how we can carry on this business? Yeah, Mr. Kunle Adebi, I guess you're there, sir. Okay. Okay, while we're waiting, today has been a very long day. We appreciate everyone. Mr. Kunle, we're still waiting. Is he online? Okay. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate everybody coming on today, and the next month is going to be another month where we do our PCB knowledge sharing, bring in another guest speakers. And I appreciate all our guest speakers today. They've done justice to all the questions. We can't thank you enough for your time given to us. We appreciate you for coming, and thank you. I believe when next we call you, you attend to our invitation. Thank you all for coming on, and we appreciate you. Yeah, Mr. Sonny, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Pompe, please, I would like to also advise that the next one we should talk about the deadly waste that we incur in our operations. There are a lot of waste that we do that we don't calculate, and it affects our, our profit margins. We could talk about the excessive use of chemicals by our staff, skill of applications, the motion waste, that's the equipment, then transportation also. These are things that we need to really talk about maybe next series, so that we can really see how we can be able to manage these IT problems for us to scale very well. Motion waste, most of our staff will on the machine and they'll just leave it on like that, working for some hours, some minutes without even using it. That can damage those machines. So I think next one we'll talk about all this kind of waste, so that we can be able to scale up very well and then maximize our profits in all we do, not our operations. Thank you very much.
That is well taken and well noted. I think we'll work on that. That's a very important topic to discuss about. Thank you, Mr. Alaji Sonny, and thank to all Mr. Victor, Madam Timmy, Madam LK. Harrison, Harrison, can you unmute yourself? And let's hear from you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
So John asked, what are the I actually asked this on the platform. So what are the association to join, so we can all learn?
Yeah, it depends on the industry you are into. If you are into cleaning, we have CPAN. If you're into pest control, we have PECAM. So it depends on the association, the industry you're operating on. Even the waste, they have their association too. We have different industry with different associations. So it depends on the one you're into that will be able to put you through. And since you have our number, you can reach us to any one of us. They will give you the directory to those people, a direct link that you won't have issues. You'll be able to go direct to the people and they will guide you through.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate. Please, as we all do, can we unmute yourself? Let's appreciate all our guest speaker while we call it a day. Thank you all for coming. Next month is going to be another section that we're going to host another guest speakers. Can we unmute and appreciate all our guest speakers, please?
Yeah, hello from here from Canada.